Hi everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is an announcement video for round 12 of the Queerlit Readathon. So this round of the Queerlit Readathon will be taking place from December 3rd to 9th and it will be hosted as always by Kathy, whose pronouns are she, her, Rogan, whose pronouns are they, them, and there are always also guest hosts, and the guest hosts for this round are Bear, from whose pronouns are they, them, and me, and my pronouns are they, she. All of the pertinent information will be in the description box below, including the links to the other hosts' channels, a couple of FAQ answers, and anything else that is important for you to know for this round. As always, there is a bingo board for this round. I would love to be able to put it on the screen for you, but I have not had time to learn the program that will allow me to do that. So it is absolutely not a requirement to make a bingo or get a board blackout or even follow any of these prompts at all. They're just suggestions for you if you like to have a bit of a guided readathon or you want some inspiration for what to pick up, but feel free to completely disregard all of the prompts. It's completely optional. We just do it for fun. Please don't feel obligated to fulfill anything related to the bingo board at all, unless of course you want to. So the first prompt for this readathon is Southern Hemisphere author, and so the purpose of this prompt is to read a book by an author who currently lives in the Southern Hemisphere. This is my prompt and I will be making another video just talking about it a little more in detail. There is a link down below to a Google Doc which has a list of all of the countries which are wholly in the Southern Hemisphere, as well as countries that are mostly in the Southern Hemisphere and also countries that are partly in the Southern Hemisphere. But please treat the countries that are partly in the Southern Hemisphere as a last resort only, and pick books from those countries if you literally cannot find a book from any of the others. But there is an exception to the lives in Southern Hemisphere part of this prompt, and that is if for any reason the author has left the Southern Hemisphere and moved to the Northern Hemisphere for their own safety. For example, they were fleeing genocide or they were fleeing persecution, or for any other reason their home country was unsafe and they moved from it to the Northern Hemisphere. That will be passable. On the other side of that, any author that was born in the Southern Hemisphere but then moved to the Northern Hemisphere not for their own safety does not count. So to give you a specific example, you can't read Gideon the Ninth for this prompt because even though Tamsin Muir is from Aotearoa, New Zealand, she now lives in London. So that one no longer counts. If you want to message me on Instagram and ask for a recommendation, I can give you some suggestions of authors that I know are quite popular and easy to access overseas, but there will be a forthcoming video from me to talk more about this prompt in detail, so look out for that as well. And the next prompt is group read. There's always a group read for the readathon, but this round we have 3 just because we really like to give you options. So the first one is the Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. So the Sunbearer Trials are a competition between a group of demigods, and if you get into the final 2 and you win, you'll be like celebrated, and if you are the loser out of the final 2, you will be sacrificed. So the main character of this is a trans boy. He is the son of the goddess of birds, and he doesn't expect that he's going to compete in the trials, but then he does, and the story goes from there. Next group book is Tim Tomorrow and the Subterranean Heartsick Blues by H.S. Valley. This will cover you for the Southern Hemisphere prompt because H.S. Valley is a Māori author and they live in Aotearoa, New Zealand. So if you're stuck for suggestions for that prompt, you've got one of the group books that will cover you for it. This is about 2 students who are in their final year at magic school, and then they have to like do an assignment where they look after an egg as if it was a baby, and they don't get along, but they have to complete this project together, and I think maybe they fall in love. And the last group book is You Exist Too Much by Zaina Arafat, which is about a queer woman who lives in Brooklyn, and it's about kind of her growing up and coming into herself, and also kind of balancing her queerness with her Palestinian heritage. I keep thinking it's a memoir, but it is actually a novel. I've heard nothing but really good things, and I think if you are only going to choose one group book to read out of these 3, maybe it should be this one. These are our 3 group books. There's no expectations for you to read all of them. Read 1 or 2 or 3, whatever feels right for you. I will be attempting to read all 3 of them because I don't know how to have reasonable expectations of myself, but that's a me problem. The next prompt is Progress Pride Flag. So this is very similar to any like rainbow cover prompt that we've had in the past, where basically you just need to read a book which has a bright colored cover. Any of the group books will cover you for this one. You can read books which have just one colour on the cover or two, or they have the colours of a specific pride flag. As long as it has a colourful cover, it will count for this prompt. And then the next prompt is choose your own prompt. So basically, find a book you want to read and manufacture a prompt that will fit that book. Or if you really like a prompt from a previous round that we don't have this time, you can pop that one in as well. It's always really fun to see what people choose for this, so please do let us know in your TBRs what your choose your own prompt is. I haven't picked what mine's going to be yet, but I've got a little time, so I'll get back to you on that one. But just this one can be literally anything that you want it to be. Then the next prompt is continued. So this can be continue a book that you're in the middle of, it can be continue a series that you've started, or continue the works of a particular author that you're making your way through, or maybe you had like a themed TBR, or you were doing a reading project or some kind of reading challenge that you haven't quite finished. This is the prompt to read any of the things that will help you fulfill those. And then the next prompt is form a DNF. So any book that you have put down for whatever reason, whether you were going to pick it up later or you were never going to pick it up again, give that book a second chance, because this time around it might be a better fit for you. The next prompt is small town queers. So just read a queer book that's set in a small town, and that's pretty much all there is to it. The next prompt is by or about drag. So either about a drag performer or by a drag performer. Either of those will be fine for this one. And then the next prompt is most recently acquired. So any queer book that you have most recently acquired, and this can be a book that you've bought or a book that you were given. It can be a book you borrowed from the library, a book you were approved for on NetGalley, a book you borrowed from a friend. Literally any book that is the last queer book that you acquired will count for this prompt. And then the next prompt for this readathon is self-pub / small press. So any like independently published book will count for this. Where there have been a lot of really great indies coming out in the last 2 years alone. So I will be very enthusiastic if you come into my Instagram DMs and ask for recommendations about indie books. I will be able to give you a ton of them. And then the next prompt, super easy, super self-explanatory, read a book for a middle grade audience. We have this prompt a lot because it's always really fun, and there's a lot of really, really great middle grade books out there. So it's always one of my favorite prompts. I'm really excited. So just a queer middle grade book, simple. The next prompt is completely up to you to interpret, and it is escape. So any book that you can tie back into this concept will count. You can interpret it in any way you like. And then the next prompt, super easy again, read a queer graphic novel. The next prompt for this readathon is Librarian Rec. So this can be a book recommendation from the in-person librarian at your local library. It can be a recommendation from a librarian that you follow online. It can be just a list of librarian recommendations that you found somewhere on the internet. As long as it is recommended by some kind of librarian and you see the recommendation, it counts. And then the next prompt is Relatable. Again, this one is completely up to you to interpret. If the author shares an identity with you, or the main character of the book shares an identity with you, it's set in your country or your city or your hometown. Literally any way you want. I've got it. One day I'll stop doing this. Any way you want. Any way you want to interpret this prompt is totally fine. And then the final prompt for this readathon is holiday. So read a book which either takes place at or centers a particular holiday. It doesn't have to be a December holiday if you don't want it to be. You could read a book about Easter or Lunar New Year or Eid, or literally any holiday you want. It can be Halloween, it can be Thanksgiving, it can be Labor Day. As long as the book's about a holiday, it counts. So the bingo board will be uploaded to socials at some point very soon if it's not up already, so you will be able to download that to keep on your phone for reference, or to print out and stick in your journal, or to recreate in your journal, however you want to do that if you're a journaling person. If you want to like tag me in your bullet journaling spreads for this readathon, absolutely please do that. I have a bullet journal and I love it, so I would really love to see how everyone like lays that out for their journal. I think that's going to be really exciting. So please tag me in your Bujo videos if you have one for this readathon. That would be great. If you want to read the same books for multiple prompts, you can absolutely do that. If you want to read for a prompt and you're completely stumped for a book that fits, please feel free to reach out to any of the 4 of us and we will do our best to help you out. There will be host recommendations going up within the next few weeks before the readathon officially starts, and we'll have some recommendation videos going up as well. The readathon officially starts on the 3rd of December at midnight in your own time zone, or if you want to like just pick a time zone and start then, you can do that too. For example, my time zone is Australian Central Daylight Time, but if I was feeling really excited and I wanted to start reading for it at 11:30 p.m. instead of at midnight, I could pretend that I was in Australian Eastern Daylight Time. We're not going to police this. So as long as it's the 3rd of December in some time zone on the planet, that will be fine too. It doesn't have to be your own time zone. And I'm sure we are similarly flexible about the end of it too, within reason. There will also be a story graph challenge for this readathon, and that will be linked down below as well. The last and most important thing about this readathon is that if you're going to make videos for it, please caption your videos. It should be something that you're aiming to do. If it's within your ability, just in terms of accessibility for everyone anyway, but specifically for this readathon, our host Rogan is deaf and they would really love to engage with your content. So please caption your videos so that they can see what you're saying. It's really important for this readathon that you do this. It would be lovely if you could do it all of the time as well, but if you're going to make videos for this one, you really need to caption them, because otherwise Rogan can't engage with your video content and that's just really unfair for them. Okay, so I think that's everything. I will also put a link down below to Rogan's website, which will have a full rundown of everything to do with this readathon in case you've missed something in this video. I should have most of the information down in my description box as well, but definitely go to their website and check that out. I think they can be trusted not to forget things more than me. I'm very nervous. All of the TBR videos from the hosts will be going up on the 15th of November, so in 2 weeks time, so keep an eye out for those. There will be additional recommendation videos, they'll be posted on social media, and if you have any questions about anything, about books for prompts, or just anything related to this readathon, please feel free to reach out to any one of us and we will do our best to fill you in. We'll have lots of content and book suggestions for you. It's going to be a really great time. I'm really excited to be a host this round and I can't wait to engage with all of your content and we can talk about some really great queer books. I'm looking forward to it. See you then. Hopefully you'll be able to join us. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my TBR video. Bye for now.